19 years old. I'm a best-selling author. I founded a skincare store. I'm a public speaker. I'm a best-selling author. I'm a magazine editor. And just to top it all off, I'm a digital marketing executive that does a degree apprenticeship. How on earth do I do what I do? Hey everyone, my name is Latoya Likambi. If you're new, welcome. I'm a 19-year-old entrepreneur and I upload skincare, lifestyle, and personal development content. And today I'm back with a very, very high requested video. So I started sharing a lot more of my life as a digital marketing degree apprentice and a young entrepreneur on TikTok. And I've received so many questions about how I do what I do, how I find the time, how I started. So I'm here. You asked, I'm delivering. So I told everyone that I would just pile up all of their questions and answer all of them in a YouTube video. And I have questions ranging from finance to my career path to doing a degree apprenticeship, uni questions, all of the lot. So let's not even waste any time and let's get straight into it. Because the first lot of questions are all about university, mostly. So the first top question that I always get asked is, what extra work experience should I do? Or what experience should I gain to stand out? So personally for my UCAS, and this was even before I decided to do a degree apprenticeship, obviously I had the upper hand in terms of, for example, I have a business, I'm a magazine editor, I'm an author, so I put those down. But it's also about the skills that you build. So you could even have a side hustle, and it's just about writing down the skills, for example, with digital marketing. And before I decided to do digital marketing as a degree apprenticeship, I was applying to do business and marketing as a normal degree. And I think what made me stand out were my experiences weren't quite niche, but they weren't just your generic experiences that people do. For example, work experience in an office. I did actually do work experience in an office, but it was abroad. So even that helped me stand out more. For example, in year 12, I did work experience in Spain. I forgot exactly what I did, but I dealt a lot with data, and data compliance and security are really big in digital marketing. I also developed a lot of creative directing skills in my business when I volunteered for working for my mom when I was younger. And I also attended a few fashion shows. I applied to Cheshire Fashion Week when I was in year 12 as well. And I was on the content team. I was invited to come down, take some content and do like freelance press at the event. So that helped me stand out because it's not your regular, oh, I did this random course online or whatever. I mean, courses online are good as well, but it has to be specifically tied to what you want to get into. Another question I always get is, how do you find your work experiences? So the thing about me is I actually only did one solid work experience that I actually gained a certificate for and was under the title of work experience. Every other experience I gained was through my businesses, was through volunteering, was through attending events. And the top two places to look at are Eventbrite and LinkedIn. Also social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Facebook is so slept on specifically. There are a lot of local Facebook groups and people are in there promoting a lot of different events, specifically in Liverpool, because people tend to say, oh, there's not much going on in Liverpool. There's something going on in Liverpool every single day. You just don't know about it. Second of all, Eventbrite. Sometimes I'd literally just be up at 3 a.m. and I'd type fashion shows in the north. You have to go out and find those opportunities. Nothing is just gonna come to you. If you're sitting there waiting for an event to just pop up on your For You page, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go out there, search for events. Even if you have to travel, I've had to travel to some of my experiences and I had to take up the sacrifice for paying for my transport there and back. It is what it is, and it helps me get to where I am today. So another theme of questions I always get are about the interview process and the CV process. I did get my degree apprenticeship through connection. However, I got onto the course because of one, my grades, and two, my UCAS. The UCAS application isn't your CV, but you have to put all your work experience onto that. And before, when I was doing a normal degree, I got accepted into, I think, 4 out of 5 of my schools, obviously because of my predicted grades and because of my experience. Also, people always ask about experience, which is great, but if you don't get the grades at the end of the day, it's going to be pretty hard. So secure the grades first before you go on all these extra side quests and things. But for my UCAS though, it's such a shame I cannot remember the girl's name, but there was a girl on TikTok and she specifies in helping people get internships and all sorts and jobs. And I used a specific layout and a format that she posted. She's an American girl. I literally forgot what her name is because I genuinely did my UCAS application all the way in year 12, which is like 2 years ago. So unfortunate. However, what you will need to include in your CV and your portfolio will be examples of your work, your experiences, any niche things that you've done that relate to your specific industry would be perfect for your CV, your UCAS application, all of that. Another question I got, what websites do I recommend to make your CV as good as possible? I I didn't use a website. I used a format, but I have a list of websites that you can use. I don't know how good they are though. So there's myperfectcv.co.uk, makemycv.com, resume.co, www.resume.io. There's also livecareer.co.uk and also enhancedcv.com. The next question I got is, what do I need to know before attending interviews? Again, I didn't do this process, but I can still help with that. Number one, know the company you applied for. Number two, analyze the role very specifically. There are 100 other kids in your place fighting for your same spot. What makes you stand out? You are there to add value. You're not there, oh, because I want to do an apprenticeship and I want to get a check every month. Yeah, of course you want to get a check, but how are you going to add more value than the rest of your competitors to the firm that you want to work for? Also, prepare your why. Why do you want to work for that specific company? You can't be generic. It's an interview for the firm and you are just one of 100 other applicants. And also, if you're doing a degree apprenticeship specifically, then you need to understand the 20% rule, which is that 20% of your working hours are actually spent on off-the-job training. So you need to make sure that you understand that rule and that you can show that you understand it as well. Right here, I also have a list of common questions that you should be prepared to answer because they may come up. Tell us about yourself. What are your strengths and your weaknesses? How will you manage balancing work and study? And if you get asked what are your strengths and weaknesses and you come to the weakness part, do not say you are a bit of a perfectionist. Let's be so for real. Nobody's trying to hear that, girl or guy. Everybody says that, and that's the last thing your employer wants to hear. How will you manage balancing work and study? And also tell us about a challenge you've overcome. Be ready to answer such type of questions. Next question is, what do I get taught in uni? So obviously I'm doing digital marketing, so we do a range of different things from the ethics of marketing. Right now we're actually learning about content. Last week I was taught about a topic called content seeding. We do a lot on AI, algorithms, platforms, social media marketing. We also learn a lot about customer behavior. Honestly, it's so interesting. And that leads me on to the next question. Do I like my experience in university? I love it. So I work 4 days a week and I go to uni once a week, which is so convenient for me. I love it so much. It just works out perfectly for me. Next question. What are typical university requirements based on industry that provides degree apprenticeships in digital marketing? Industry specific, your experience again, but in general, the grades. Remember, without the grades, you can't go anywhere. The grades are just as important as your experience. Next question, how do I find my course? I love my course. I wouldn't want to do any other course. And also because it's specifically digital marketing and not just marketing, I find that fits me more. What university do I do my course at? I'm at University of Lancashire, which is UCLan. Great uni, I love it there. Love the course, love the teachers, love the staff, love the support that's available for students. Do I find it difficult balancing work and studies? Definitely, but it's something I've always had to do because even before going into uni and doing a degree apprenticeship, whilst in secondary school, I was owning a business and doing that throughout my studies. I had to balance that with A-levels. I had to balance that with GCSEs. So it's something I'm used to, but it doesn't get any easier. I do learn better ways to find balance at times, but I'm very entrepreneurial. So I always tend to be more focused on career sometimes than school. It's a strength, but it's a weakness in many ways, especially when my duty as a young person and a student is to put school first. Another question that I always get is, do you know if your company is offering degree apprenticeships for the year? No, my company is not, and they're not offering degree apprenticeships or apprenticeships anytime soon. Maybe in a few years, you never know, but as for now, no. Next question is, do I live at home, have a place or accommodation? I live at home. When I was going to study business and marketing as a degree, I was supposed to move down to Manchester and stay in an accommodation. We actually even paid the deposit, but I live at home and it just works out so well for me because I don't have huge financial responsibilities and I don't even have a car yet, so I'm flying. Also, is my place near my work, office or university? I live an hour away from my university, like 50-ish minutes on the train, but I only go there once a week, so that's perfectly fine for me. And my workplace is in the same city where I live, so perfectly fine for me again. Next question is, what do you think helped you stand out to get that degree? Okay, we're talking about the actual degree, not the apprenticeship. Yeah, definitely my UCAS application, and again, the grades. Get the grades. If you open your paper on results day and you have the most amazing UCAS essay, but you don't have the grades, unfortunately, the course will not accept you or it'll be trickier to get in. Next, what are the pros and cons of doing a degree apprenticeship? I'm actually going to start with the cons because in my experience, there are way more pros than cons. Number one, you don't get the regular uni experience. For some, that might be a con. Sometimes it can be a con, especially during freshers when I remember a lot of people were out having fun. But to be fair, I think I was on holiday for my birthday at that time, so I didn't really care. Plus, it's really difficult for me to get FOMO, so I don't really feel like I'm missing out. Another thing though is that you kind of feel a bit disconnected from the rest of the students at the university. But a way I actually overcame that was by sometimes going to society events. So I joined a few Christian societies on my campus, and I know people outside of my course from that. And also, when I was on a business trip, I did meet someone who goes to my uni, so that just worked out for me. But yeah, another con, probably the pressure to be able to manage your time effectively in between uni and the actual job itself. A con, but this can be if you're doing a corporate degree apprenticeship. Age pressure, you're young, you're inexperienced. There can be biases within the company against your favor. That's not a personal con that I've experienced. Now onto the pros. The experience, the course, the pay, hello? 0 student debt. Are you joking me? What do you mean I have to pay 9 point something K a year for university? In this economy, no thank you. Also, because you have worked for 3 years straight, you're more attractive in the eyes of employers after you graduate. Whether you want to level up in the firm that you're already in, you're in a safer position. Or if you want to move and work elsewhere, they can look back and see you've got that experience. Whereas regular students, they don't really have that advantage. Plus, there's kind of an employment crisis going on with graduates, so doing a degree apprenticeship or an apprenticeship just gives you that upper hand and advantage. Also, the networking opportunities. There is a whole network of apprentices and degree apprentices in the UK. Unfortunately, they're more upsell, specifically in London, but there are so many apprenticeship events, just so many ways for you to network with other people. You never know who you'll bump into. You never know where they can take you. I think that's a huge pro. So now moving on to my businesses. The first question I had is, how did I get into writing and being a published author? I actually started writing when I was really young. I wrote my first book at the age of 7. I've always been super interested in literacy, writing. English has always been my favorite subject. Never been a fan of maths. And at the time, my mom had just published her first book, and I literally got up and I said, I want to publish a book too. I'm not even joking. That's how it played out. So I had that support behind me, and I was able to publish a book. We also have a publishing company in my family, a family publishing company called Likambi Global Publishing. So if you are an aspiring author or you want to release a magazine, any type of publication, we are here. We help with the publishing process, the editing process, and the marketing process as well. So just shout me if you need that. www.likambiglobalpublishing.com. Next question. How did I start public speaking? So I actually started public speaking from being an author. The first time I did public speaking was at my book launch event. Oh my goodness, I've come such a long way. I've always loved talking, but I never did public speaking. So I wrote my first book when I was 7, published it when I was 10, and I had my very first launch event. That was the first time outside of school that I had to talk in front of an audience. I did actually used to do a bit of acting in school as well, but that was something else. So yeah, I started public speaking from that, and then because I had published a book at such a young age, I was on local TV stations and radio stations, so I started there. Then I started being invited to events in the city. I used to look at notes on my phone and talk. I can't believe that. Or I used to rehearse my speeches over and over again. But yeah, that's exactly how I started public speaking, and now I'm at a point where I have just become an international speaker, and I've won multiple awards for public speaking. People always used to say she talks too much, loud, embarrassing. I don't see you being a public speaker, award winning. I don't see you getting paid just to talk. Do you get paid to talk? You didn't even get paid to tell me that I'm loud, embarrassing, and annoying. How did you get into the creative business space, and how did you start? Funny story. I actually started when I received a Christmas gift. I was 13 years old, received a Christmas gift of a DIY make your own bath bombs, lip balm set, whatever, and I went ahead and I literally fell in love. I was like, I want to make a lip gloss business, a skincare business. And at the time, funnily enough, so my brand is 100% organic and cold pressed products only. That's what makes us stand out. But at the time, it wasn't like that. It was just your generic shiny glittery lip balms and bath bombs. And I took them to my auntie and my mom at the time. They tested my products. They were like, you can make this a business. You have to go all in with this. And at the time, I was going back and forth with my mom because she said she will only support me if I do this in an 100% organic and cold pressed way. I was 13. I wanted my sparkles, my mango flavors, my cotton candy scents. I wasn't trying to do some organic vegan stuff. I was a 13-year-old child, and I decided, mother knows best. This is the best idea. It has been the best idea. I've never looked back. I started first with selling to friends and family in school. Then we opened up a website, and then 2020 hit. It was really difficult in 2020. Sales hit an all-time low, but during the year of 2020, my highlights were I got my very first international orders. I got my first order from America, I got an order from Italy, and I think it was Germany. And then after that, I started going to business exhibitions, local events where I could sell and do my pop-up stuff. And then the year 2022 came around. I had just finished year 10. I just turned 15 the year before. And I launched the physical flagship store of Tay's Eye Skincare in Liverpool. I started working there, had to balance working with studying, and I've literally never looked back, and I'm here today. I'm still working at the skincare store, so that's how I started. Next, how do I gain all of these opportunities? Either I always find opportunities for myself, or my mum does a lot of opportunity looking for me. It's never really been a case of just sitting there and waiting for an opportunity to come around. I'm always searching for opportunities, whether it be on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Eventbrite, always. And then because of that, sometimes I also get referred to people, like people find me and then they call me for this or that and the other. But that's because I put myself out there first. I never ever just sit and wait for an opportunity to come to me, because we're in the day and age where everybody's showing you. There's no point in waiting for opportunities anymore. Nobody's gonna come and pick you up and put a golden spoon in your mouth. The next question is, am I looking for any staff at my store? No, I'm currently not looking for any staff, and I don't think I will be anytime soon, but when I do, I definitely will make people aware of that. Another question I have in regards to that is, what is the lowest age that I can get a job at your shop, please? Again, not looking for any staff, but I wouldn't hire anyone under the age of 18. It would probably be an 18 plus job. However, for students, I do have a work experience program where you can come gain a lot of different skills, and it's not just a generic, oh, a shopkeeping job at my skincare store. It's marketing skills, creative directing skills, stock management, database skills, and all that. It's actually a really good experience, and I'd recommend it for any student that needs work experience this year. I think it stands out because whoever says, yeah, I had work experience at a skincare store, a teen-owned skincare store to be specific, that's making you stand out automatically. Next question is, what are my plans for my skincare store in the future? So within the next 5-ish years, I do want to have other branches of Tay's Eye Skincare around the UK, and I definitely do aim, strive, and hope for Tay's Eye to be a global household name brand. Tay's Eye Skincare belongs in your house, my home, everybody's home. Organic skincare is for everybody. Organic, healthy living is for everybody. Do you ever receive any backlash, and how do you deal with that? I have in the past. I've never not received any backlash, actually. People used to do all sorts. Mind you, there was a point in time where I actually used to attend an all-girls school. Yeah, I think you can imagine that I got backlash. Mind you, I'm from Liverpool, which is a place where I love my city, but it's a place where until now you wouldn't get many creatives and people sharing their business journeys around my age, and even in their 20s and 30s. People had very reserved and kind of mediocre attitudes. So if you did do what I did, for example, when I was young, I had a YouTube channel. Girls would make fun of that. They literally scream my YouTube intro in the school halls and write my YouTube name on the chairs of buses and just random crap. How are you making fun of a child who's got more motion than you? How do I deal with that? I really just don't care, because I was so focused on what I was doing, and I'm really grounded. I have a really huge imagination, something I've always had since I was a child. So I have an ability to see exactly almost where I want to be when I'm older. So I have this straightforward vision, and these people are just in the side and in the background on the sideline. How can I let them disrupt my vision when they don't even have any vision for their own lives? And backlash always came from people whose lives I would never ever want to live. Why would I listen to you if you live a lifestyle that I never want to live? Why would I listen to you if you're not aspirational in any way, shape, or form? Why would I listen to you if I wouldn't even take advice from you? Why would I listen to you when your situation is 10 times worse than my situation? Get a grip. How do you get rid of FOMO as a teen? You just don't care. You need to stop caring. Fear of missing out is way too expensive. It's an expense that is way too pricey for you to even be bothered about if you have goals and ambitions. I'm not saying don't have a life, don't go out. I'm just saying fear of missing out is super normalized, and it's consumed us in such a way where we think it's normal to do things just because we don't want to miss out. Huh? Excuse me, I will miss out. Participating in that activity is not going to contribute to the lifestyle I want. Mind you, how am I missing out on relationships when all of you end up heartbroken anyway? And you get trauma and you have to go through a whole healing process. How am I missing out on parties when all of you just end up throwing up because you can't even control how much you drink? You're not missing out, girl. Come on now. I think it's really easy to avoid FOMO. You just need to have a very clear vision, very clear plan, strategy, etc. How did you start your magazine business? I started it for the love of the game. Quite literally. Thrive Magazine is a magazine that I founded and I'm the editor of. It's all about spotlighting young creatives, young prodigies, giving them a platform to inspire other young people. I'm all about empowering young people, and there are so many other young people who do what I do or similar things. For example, young authors, young public speakers, young footballers, young musicians, and they don't get the credit they deserve. So Thrive Magazine is to, one, give them a platform, amplify their voices, give them more opportunities, and have that knock-on effect. Because it's one thing when you get an inspiring story from a person who's older. Young people can think they're older, they've had the time, they've had the experience. I want to show you that your age doesn't mean anything. I'm 19 and I do what I do. The people I interview are all young and they do what they do, so you can as well, and that's the purpose of Thrive Magazine. The last questions are all in regards to finance. I'm a spender. I don't know why you would ask me questions about finance. I'm a spender. I'm just kidding. Let's answer the questions. Well, I'm not kidding. I'm quite literally a spender. First of all, do I receive a degree apprenticeship income? Yes, I do receive a degree apprenticeship income. Some people on my course don't. Some people on my course receive higher incomes, but I'm at the beginning of my journey. I just started the degree apprenticeship. I also live at home. I also don't have any financial responsibilities. My pay is a huge pro, regardless of whether I got paid the pay for a normal exec or a degree apprenticeship exec. The pay is the pay, the game is the game. And it will increase over time, hopefully. So do I receive side hustle income from like TikTok and YouTube and stuff? I actually don't. I don't make any money from social media. I literally just love doing what I do. I love posting, I love talking, I love empowering people. I make money from my businesses and my job, but I don't make any money from social media. Definitely one day I will though. There's no doubt about that. Do I have multiple bank accounts for these? I do, but it's not for each stream of income. I actually do have a specific card on which I have different cards inside. I have a Monzo card, and this specific bank allows you to have different cards inside your card, like different accounts inside your card, but you get a card for each account. Yeah, for that I have different accounts. I have like one where I put all the marketing money for my skincare business, another where all the marketing money for my magazine business goes, another for my traveling expenses. The only reason I actually have a Monzo card is literally just because of traveling. The benefits are really good. And other than that, I do have different cards. I'm with 3 different banks, but that's just because I'm with 3 different banks. It's not because of anything specific. I do have multiple saving accounts as well, but let me tell you something now, don't be fooled. I'm not great at saving. Yes, I need to improve. Yes, I want to improve. Yes, I have to improve, but honestly, I wouldn't ask myself for saving advice. I really wouldn't. Okay, next question is, even after my employer deducts my tax, am I meant to apply for a self-assessment after I make 1K from my side hustles? I'm not too sure. I'm actually really not good with all the financial side of stuff. All I know is that I get taxed. Unfortunately, I'm just a baby. Why are you taxing me? There's a pigeon staring at me. Do you want smoke? Like, what's wrong with you? What's your problem? Oh, actually, I think I already automatically get taxed because of the payment system I use for my skincare store. So yeah, I get VAT off of that. So before it even reaches my bank account, it's already taxed. So that's not an issue. But yeah, about my degree apprenticeship pay, unfortunately, I am a working member of the British Society, so I do get taxed. When I first got taxed and I saw the difference between my salary before tax and after tax, I really just wanted to cry. I was like, wow, I'm just 19. Are you guys really doing this to me? Yes, they are really doing it to me. And that is it. That was the very, very last question. I thank you all so much for asking these questions. I honestly really appreciate it when people ask me questions about my life, my career, whatever, especially young people. It just shows your enthusiasm, what you're willing to do to gain knowledge. And I love it because I always preach and recommend cold messaging random people. Some people, once I replied to them, they were like, thank you so much for answering. Why wouldn't I answer? I mean, I could take some time because I do get really busy, but I would answer you. So would a lot of other founders, business owners, businessmen, businesswomen. I appreciate everything. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so that you can stay in the loop. I already know you love it here. You have no option to stay. You're with me now. And yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video.